Hey yo, look, rest in peace to Barbara Davis. We hit another layer. When she speak to me, it's like she's saying prayers. I feel like Randy Moss when he was on the Raiders. Man, they love it.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. I mean, it's been since what, April, early May since we recorded
Yeah.
an episode. I didn't think we were going to be back, but we made it work. So hope you guys are excited because we have some interesting perspectives here on this podcast. As you may know, if you don't follow Trevor on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it anymore, he's pretty much he's following the team every day. He's there. He's at practices. He's at the home games. He's there. So you get a little cool insight from there. Trevor, if there's anything I'm missing you want to add to that, please go right for it.
Yeah, no, I think you nailed it. Good to be back. A lot of fun this year already, getting to do the new independent page and try things out on my own. So we try, we see what works, we see what doesn't work, and we keep moving. That's kind of how it's been.
Yeah, and of course, I don't really do anything cool. I pretty much just repost all their news in my own format. So that's pretty much what I do. But I get it out there faster than Shams. But speaking of Shams, we do have something pretty cool that happened up today.
Oh boy.
Good old Twitter. Jimmy Butler of Phoenix Sun. I don't know. Could happen. Trevor did host a pretty long Twitter space today, and there was a lot of cool opinions and perspectives in there. I guess, Trevor, I'll let you capitalize on what I just said there, along with the Twitter spaces that you held today.
Yeah, no. So from what we know, right, because, we're in an age of misinformation, so let's get everything out that we do know. Jimmy Butler apparently he stated his desire to be traded from the Miami Heat, and the Heat are reportedly listening to offers. And there was a tweet when I was actually doing a space, like you mentioned, that the Phoenix Suns are a team that Jimmy Butler would be interested in being traded to. And, because it's a slow week, because the Suns haven't played in 3 or 4 days, people are going to take that and run with it. I would encourage people to think about it and kind of assess exactly what it all means. And, this is something that we're going to get into, but it would be a very difficult thing. I've been following, because the Suns still isn't my full-time job. Unfortunately, I've been able to get into the works of all of it. But what I do know is Bradley Beal and the no trade clause would be at the top of the consideration here. There you go. There's the tweet itself. And the agent, Jimmy Butler's agent, actually came out and was saying it was false and everything. I remember when I was on the space, I went on NBA Countdown, and Shams was on there saying, a couple times that, keep an eye out for the Phoenix Suns, or the Phoenix Suns were, big time here. So a lot that we have to learn. And I'm sure we're going to get into it in just a second, but it would be very difficult to make happen. And it wouldn't be a straight up thing based on what I've read from some kind of salary cap experts that I follow around the web.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to say that anything is impossible, especially in today's NBA.
Yeah.
Obviously, one of the players that are going to be moved is Bradley Beal in this trade. As much as I do love Beal, there's actually a pretty interesting tweet that somebody quoted me on earlier this week, which I will get into. But yeah, I don't know how this is going to play out. Obviously, I think there will be a third team that needs to be involved, if I'm correct here.
Correct, because I think actually I'm not even going to comment on it in full, but I'd recommend if for people who are looking for more.
You know what? I'm going to beat you to it right here, Trevor.
There you go.
Right
go ahead.
here.
Yeah.
All the info. Right here.
Gerald's got it.
3 tweets.
I've been retweeting his stuff. Keith Smith over at Spotrac is another good follow. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it.
Yeah, as you can see here by the man himself, Gerald Brigay. Per source, the Suns are pursuing Jimmy Butler, aside from the obvious difficulties with both the Suns and the Heat being tax apron teams. So yeah, second apron that I already pointed out. Phoenix believes their big three believes in it and what they see from this group. 11-2 when healthy, which is another thing that we are going to get into in a bit. But yeah, it's going to be a tough one to pull off. Of course, Bradley Beal does have that no trade clause, but if you do recall back about 2 summers ago now, when their Heat were in the sweepstakes for Bradley Beal. They were one of the top teams. And from conversations that I have, God, let me just get this right here. The exact message. So Beal, I guess, and Bam are pretty close. I didn't know that.
I've heard that floating around today too. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how that came about because I'm just looking at the age disparity between those two and how this relationship comes about. I don't know if Bam's from the St. Louis area. I don't think he is. But yeah, Beal loves to no tax there. But he does love Phoenix too, and has been pretty cool with KD for a long time. So that's what I've been hearing.
Yeah.
Would Bradley Beal waive that no trade clause? I have no idea. I don't think anybody really knows as far as how that could play out. It's going to be interesting, though. As you can see here, Gerald also says that means Miami would need to add more outgoing money. A vet minimum gets the job done, though. And it's a loophole since vet minimums don't count as aggregated salary. Or agree. Yeah, that's the word. Words are tough. So the Heat could attach a vet minimum in a deal to make the math work. But again, the Suns aren't trading Book, KD, or Beal. What are your thoughts on that?
So, well, Gerald's an excellent reporter, and has done a really good job reporting the salary cap stuff. Even leading up to when Matt Ishbia had his end of the year press conference last year, he called Gerald out and said, your article was right. And so, he does, a fabulous job reporting. Just some observations. I'm not, coming at this saying that like I've heard any reporting in the same way, but just like analyzing Gerald's tweet and maybe trying to make it a little clearer for the audience. He had said, and then there it is. The Suns aren't pursuing Jimmy Butler. Okay, so that seems to provide some, let's pump the brakes a little bit here. Gerald had also clarified, and we just mentioned that it's not very likely given the salary matching situation. And again, the Suns are 11-2 with their big three healthy. So it's not like this is a bad team, but you are looking to win a championship this year. And then he says in the follow-up tweet, on that second one we have on the screen there, the Suns aren't trading Book, KD, or Beal. So pretty definitively, he seems to shut that down. I know that Shams, had said that thing, and then we can even probably pull up the thing that Jimmy Butler's agent said. So there's a lot of stuff going around right now, but from what I can say, and if I can provide any sort of analysis, it does seem that this is very unlikely. But there is some leverage in Jimmy Butler's case because he has a player option next year, right? So we expect him to become an unrestricted free agent. So he does have some sort of leverage, if you will. And like if you're a Houston, does that make sense to you with your young core to go ahead and try to get Jimmy Butler? And and he's 34, so he's older, right? The Warriors, same thing. It would make sense most to me that the Suns could be a possibility for what he's looking for, a win now type of scenario. You have a chance, and then and then the Suns if they could get that Beal contract off the books, like, hey, I think that would be outstanding. Nothing against Bradley Beal. It's just when you're looking at the math of things, and the Suns are paying $226 million, and Bradley Beal, is at this point is not seemingly worth that money. So kind of a lot of things there, but that's kind of what I take away from reading the whole situation.
Yeah, and then kind of going back to Jimmy Butler's agent here, he said, all right, listen, I gave you a pass yesterday because I was busy, but if you don't stop putting my name on your complete and utter made-up bullshit because normally aren't worth my time to acknowledge, continued.
Okay.
All right, then I think there's another one here too. Oh, this dude had time. All right. I don't know what I'm going to do because I'm a middle-aged dad, but just know it would indicate severe dislike. World, all this fabricated. All this is fabricated. I have never, and honestly, it would. God, this sucks to read. It wouldn't help me or the position I represent to do anything that's been reported by said journalist. Hoof.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Some
a lot of
shots
people.
fired. A
lot of people are looking
this
at
is just
this and
a mess. Yeah. Yes.
What this seems to me is kind of like a smokescreen. I think he's just covering his ass because someone within Jimmy Butler's camp for sure leaked this because Shams doesn't just pull his fucking information out of the black hole out in the universe. So clearly this just comes it doesn't come from somewhere. I mean, he doesn't just randomly come up on ChatGPT saying, "Hey, where's Jimmy Butler? What are his trade? Where's his preferred destinations?" Obviously, I don't know if it was between the agent or somebody in Butler's camp had to mention Phoenix. He said that to someone, so there is a mouse in there. But as you can see, but just on the comments here on the side, there is people overreacting. Damn, Shams just lost all his street cred. No, he didn't. Shut up. He's good. not worried about it at all.
Yeah. And that, we can probably talk about what Jimmy Butler has said, but he seems, open to all this kind of discussion. Like, he hasn't shut it down at all. So, it does seem pretty clear that he's not, that he is open to this trade, were it to happen, where he would go, who knows. But, his comments have been pretty clear to the media.
Yeah. Like I said, I think as far as fits, I think Butler does fit better with this team than Bradley Beal. I'm not discrediting Bradley Beal by any way. I think he's a fantastic player, but I do think he would be better in Miami. I think that does fit him. He would have a chance to be, I don't know if he's really a number one option on that team with Bam, but I don't even with Hero, because he's kind of going off this season, but I think it would just be better because on this team you have Devin Booker and Bradley Beal. They pretty much mirror each other in a sense. Not exactly, but they're the same type of player. So when you bring in a Jimmy Butler that can come out there, and I'm not discrediting Bradley Beal at all. I love Beal. I think he plays his ass off. I think he's the most open person on this team too when it comes to taking accountability for stuff as well. And I mean, he just gives it his all. And it's just been unfortunate with the injuries, and I just don't think the fit. I mean, from day one, I was kind of skeptical of the fit with Bradley Beal being on this team just because of the fact that you have Kevin Durant and you have Devin Booker. So didn't really see the fit, but here it is. You just got to root for the guy since he's on the team here. And once again, no hate towards Beal at all. Love him. Great guy. But yeah, I guess we can bring it into another topic here. As more information does come out here on Jimmy Butler throughout the days, we will try to keep you guys informed here. So moving it along, let's talk about the Suns' current position and record. Because without Kevin Durant, so far this team has been disgusting.
It's been brutal.
Yeah. Without Kevin Durant, I believe we are 1-9 on the season so far. Right. That is something to really take a look back on and just – sorry, this Twitter is crazy right now. It's just something to kind of look at. Trevor, as far for your perspectives here, what are your kind of thoughts on the Suns' positioning right now in the West, just as a team as a whole?
It's honestly pretty simple. I think when they're healthy, they're a very good basketball team. And when they're not healthy, they're not a very good basketball team. I think the biggest thing that has surprised me in this stretch is just how much they've struggled with Book and Beal even together, and being unable to score, struggling to take care of the basketball. I think, I was tweeting during the Miami game when the Suns, they were up at halftime, I'm pretty sure, in both the Miami game and the Orlando game on Sunday. Book walking the ball down the floor, kind of same thing with Beal, like not really the sense of urgency, I think, was lacking and surprising to me. And, there was an interesting comment from Book today. I had asked him because he had said at the beginning of the year that vocal leadership was going to be a big thing and leadership overall. And so I asked him how that was being challenged during this time. And he said that his energy always stays the same and that, you'd have to ask other guys. And I saw someone tweet back, that's the problem. And I can't disagree. It seems like that he's lacking a little bit of the jump and boost and kind of, when things are going wrong, like he's going to kind of put his head down and get his, that's the kind of Devin Booker we're used to, not seeing it. I think positive. And, I kind of was trying to get Book to hit on that today. Royce O'Neal has done very well. Josh Okogie has done some good things. Oso, I think, is continuing to stay steady, although I didn't really like how he played against Orlando. He got in foul trouble a little bit. But yeah, I think the big things, it starts at the top with the two guys. Durant's out, and then really shocked that they haven't been able to find some sort of formula to win, a couple games out of this out of these times. That's been most shocking.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you brought up that nice little Booker quote or the little interaction you had with, because we can pull it up here because we are super awesome now. We can do stuff like that. So
absolutely.
I'm going to go ahead and put that up on the screen for everybody to watch here as we are going to take a look at Devin Booker's energy towards the team.
Yeah. I know you said at the beginning of the year vocal leadership was important to you. How is that kind of being tested right now, and how are you growing with your leadership through this stretch?
I mean, you'd have to ask the guys. I say, my energy doesn't change. There's like I said, a new opportunity, a new goal, and that's Utah Jazz now, and that's what I'm most focused on. So, in game, just always talking, seeing what I see, and trying to do what helps the team win.
All right, now Trevor, looking back on that video, I do see about the point where it doesn't change. His energy doesn't change. Maybe something does got to change, because clearly something isn't working out. Where you're 1-9 without Kevin Durant, and I feel like I hate to be that guy, because I feel like no, you're good. I feel like this is such like a Twitter like a bad tweet that you would see in the Suns community. But I feel like Book's like motive and energy has changed ever since Kevin Durant has joined the Suns team.
Okay.
I feel like he's been kind of, I don't know, passive. I don't know. I mean, of course, I'm not there. I'm 2,000 miles away in general, so I don't see the day-to-day basis, and nobody really does. We don't see the ins and outs. We don't see what's happening in the locker room. You guys don't come in until after practice is wrapped up, so we don't really get to see any of that. So it's kind of tough to make a judgment on that. But from what you see, I mean, even from watching the games in person, it's still a little bit different. I don't know. I just feel like something has definitely changed with Devin Booker in the past couple of seasons. I don't know exactly what it is, but it just feels like that. I don't know. Something's missing.
I think Book. Okay, so I'm not speaking from Book at all here. This is just Trevor's observations, so take it as you will. A lot of people think my observations suck, but I'm going to give them anyway. So
that's why
my observation, just from watching the Suns in 2023, and that's been a big topic of discussion in my spaces, is in 2023, Devin Booker was doing historic things in the playoffs next to Kevin Durant, and it looked like, and I've heard people say this, like, Booker was going to take that leap, and then Durant's going to let Booker do his thing. They can play off each other. They're kind of equals, if you will, even though we kind of understand who Kevin Durant is and who Devin Booker is when it comes to who's the guy, right? And I came out and I said that Book is after that playoff run is the top 3 player in the league, and the reason why is because he objectively, before Durant got there, I think, maybe a little bit subjectively, but in my opinion, had been the best player on the team that had won the most games in the NBA in the last 3 years. And I think if things went different for Book in 2021, like if Sarge doesn't go down, if Chris Paul doesn't get hurt, if Book doesn't have the hamstring, who knows? But the Suns could have a chip that year. And if Chris Paul doesn't get hurt in 23, the Suns could have a chip that year. And we could be looking at Book and we could say, wow, 2 rings right now, just like with things that are totally out of his control. But I agree with you. I know a lot of people just say like it's a different vibe. My kind of stance on it, and I'll pull from a quote that Book told Dwayne Rankin a couple years ago, is that like earlier in his career, he was going to take, more opportunities against the double or triple teams. And now he's more of a let the game come to me thing. I think that Book has maybe looked to this point of his career, like, okay, an MVP or another, top tier regular season is not going to get me where I want to go. Like, I want to get that ring. And like, since maybe the last 10 years or so, like in this LeBron Curry era, the regular season hasn't carried as much weight. I think a lot of people can agree on that. And now it's more so of like preparing for the postseason and making sure that your body's at the best point that it is there, and making sure that you're playing your best basketball at the right time, kind of like a college basketball vibe, if you will. So I think that he's, based on that quote from Dwayne and based on him kind of slowing down and not pushing the envelope, and, he's still done the first quarter scoring. And like, I think that's a staple of his, and, playing the full first quarters and stuff. But you don't see the kind of, if things are going down or like, him being aggressive, throughout the whole game. I wonder if like the hamstrings or like the ankle injuries that he's had have played a little bit of weight in that. I'm going to say something that's very hypocritical because I'm an overweight guy myself, but I think that Book might be a little top heavy right now because he doesn't have the same sort of kind of, burst and kind of speed off the corner. That's something that we talk about in my spaces. So I think, really disappointing because it seemed like he was going to take off. And now there's this argument as like, is he even the best at his position anymore? While Kevin Durant, ever since he's come here, and I know that this topic isn't about Kevin Durant, but, has done his thing. So kind of a long-winded one there. But my thing is like, I think he's, kind of waiting or kind of setting himself up for that kind of championship thing, realizing they're not at full health. So why exhaust myself for like a game or two here? Let's kind of build and see what happens. And that would make, sense based on kind of everything I just listed and what's kind of happened in his career.
Yeah, that is a great point with the injuries and stuff because I'd look back on these highlights and they just randomly pop up on my timeline sometimes. With Book, he just looks so much more explosive as a player. Yeah. Now it just seems like, God, I really fucking hate to make this comparison, but it's almost like Paul George now in a way because Paul George was such an explosive ass player, but now he's kind of like a passive, like smooth, like. It's like a jazz player. I don't know. Like it's like he flows, I guess, in a way. Paul George just kind of gets. He doesn't. I don't know. It's nothing like too flashy, but I mean, it's smooth and it's slowed down, I guess, in a way. If that's the way. If that's a fair way to put it, because I fucking hate Paul George, and I don't feel like that's a comparison that's ever been made ever. So, yeah. I don't know, but the explosiveness is definitely gone there. I mean, he's 28 years old. It's not like Kevin Durant seems even a little bit more explosive at times, but I don't know what is going on there. And I feel like it's kind of been hard for Book to get to a spots. I know obviously everybody is out right now, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm just throwing a lot into this right now, but I feel like Book and Beal together. I'm going to throw them both into this conversation. They need to have the ball in their hands less. That's why Tyus Jones was brought to this team. That's why he was signed on that veteran minimum. He wasn't signed as fucking shoot set point shots from the wings and corners. So I don't know. I feel like Tyus Jones hasn't been much of a point guard. I don't know this season in a way. I don't know if that's a fair take at all, but I feel like I'm still watching the same Book from last year in a sense.
Yeah, I've been a little. And like I said, everything that I just said, like I can be completely off. Like that's just kind of like how I'm seeing it. And like, okay, maybe trying to formulate some questions and stuff, right? Like my observations lead to questions and like, oh, I can be completely wrong. Like is the player seeing something different? But yeah, no, there is like, a level of uncertainty with what Book is going to look like in the future. Like, cause we know he's capable of doing great things and like historic things, like in the playoffs, but again is the health, who knows, but the fact is that the expectations are high with him. He understands that, and it's a matter of just now finding that, like you said, that rhythm, that maybe not the Paul George rhythm, because who knows where the hell that'll lead for Book if he follows Paul George model. But
I know I swear if this gets clipped and put on my Twitter timeline, I will be so furious. So, yep. I doubt it won't because I don't know. It's cool. It's whatever.
Yeah.
It was an odd comparison. That's fair. So everybody that's gonna find this clip somehow and flame me for it, I respect it. I don't even know why I said it, but I put it out there.
I will say that I tried to press him a little bit just to kind of try to get some of these answers that people were looking for today at practice. He didn't really budge, and at the end, he was kind of, it's not fed up, but it seemed like he didn't really want to answer, get more into specifics. So I was like, all right. I tried, but yeah.
I mean, hey, gotta respect it. But yeah, I don't know if this is really a fun fact, but we know how much of a nightmare last season was. I already sent you this graphic, so I think you might have an idea of what this is going to be. But through 23 games from this season compared to last season, the 23-24 Suns were 13-10. Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
This season, this year's team It's 12-11 through 23 games.
Mhm.
When you hear something like that, what do you think? What do you think about that?
Shocking, but also not surprising, just given that we know what's happened. So
Yeah,
crazy that 10 games they were 9-2 and 7-1, tied the
right.
best start in franchise history, and now here we are, and I'm looking at 10th in the West, tied for 9th, I guess, with Minnesota. So
Yeah, it's a little bit I don't know. It's so strange because I feel like when you look at this team, this team should. I'm not even gonna make excuses. This team should be able to win games without Kevin Durant. I mean, I'm not even gonna. I know Beal said that the team's in a good spot. You know what? We'll just pull up the Dwayne ranking video, but
yeah,
I don't know. I just feel like I don't know what's going on here. Defensively, this team is not good at all, which we all know. So Jimmy Butler would be cool for that purpose. But I just don't know what's been going on with this team. It's just been so frustrating to watch. Yeah. Where's this at? Oh, it's all the way down here. But yeah, it's just been it's been such a weird road trip for this team. I made a short video after the Pelicans game, I believe. We gave up 45 points to DeJounte Murray, CJ McCollum, and whoever the hell else was on that court in that third quarter, and somehow lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but it's just the closing out games, which I guess that is Kevin Durant's specialty, is being a closer. But I feel like when you have Devin Booker and Bradley Beal, it shouldn't be a question. But anyways, everybody watching this right now, we are about to show you an interesting clip from Bradley Beal. So let's get into it.
And then there, what you feel like was happening in that fourth, obviously they were blitzing and doing those type of things. But you guys have seen that before, though, right?
Yeah, first games, Jesus Christ. They were just the blitzes and pick and rolls. They were just more active on that end before. Just got to take care of it. Very, I wouldn't say lackadaisical. I think we were making plays to the basket and aggressive plays. But can't turn it over, obviously.
One of the things they're obviously very active, but they got size to go with it. How much is that a problem when you guys are out there with four guards at one point in the game?
I wouldn't say it's a problem.
Okay.
It's just NBA. They're not the only team with size and length. Athleticism. That's the kind of the trend of the NBA now. So we are who we are. We got to go out and step up for our best foot forward, get stops, it's hurt us, and so not turn the ball over.
Brad, the 6 turnovers, I believe, in the fourth quarter. Talk about that fourth quarter. Things really swung their way, the momentum. Brad got into it.
I think I had 2, 3. And
that's what I'm laughing at.
Both got one. I mean, it's just, that's basketball, man. It's not anything that they were doing or anything that we can just like, man, we just didn't. Just turn the ball. I think everybody's making an aggressive play. There's none lackadaisical. And I think the lackadaisical ones are the ones we get pissed off and frustrated with. But if we're making the play, trying to get down here, trying to be aggressive, you don't lose the ball. You don't kick the ball. That type of stuff happens.
How do you guys reverse this?
Keep moving.
Okay.
Keep moving. I'm not gonna. I've seen worse than this. So this ain't.
Right.
This is. We're in a good spot. I think we're competing well. Just gotta finish games.
All right, now Trevor, as we wrap up that clip there, he says we are in a good spot and we just got to keep hooping. See, I'm not even paying attention to what Bradley Beal's really saying in that clip. I'm just kind of watching his body language
Yeah.
the whole time because he just seems. God, I hate to nitpick the guy, I guess. It feels like he's just uncomfortable. I don't know if it's because, I mean, obviously, they're probably fucking pissed off that they just lost the game to the Orlando Magic off a pretty tough game, too.
Mm-hmm.
And you got Dwayne Rankin, great guy, but just in your face asking you questions about the struggles. So, I mean, I'm not going to really look too much into that, but what are your takeaways from watching that?
I think, like Brad is, like the Suns probably are, like fans are, everybody's just frustrated right now. And they know that they're very capable. And the they haven't been able to show it, and that's the hard part. Is like, you know, we've seen it, and we've seen them beat good teams, like top tier contending type teams, but they just haven't been able to show it. And I think like until they get healthy and until they can put it together consistently, like it feels like the same problem as last year. Like, you know, if Brad, he said it on a podcast, on a Title League, I think is the publication podcast, that if he played half the games that he missed last year, like the Suns are probably a 60-win team, man. But like, we just don't know because they're not available.
Yeah, 100%. It's just so much uncertainty in the past 2 years. It's kind of hard to put your thumb on some things, because at the start of the season it was Yusuf Nurkic, which still you need to change. I don't really think you need to move on from Nurkic. D-Rock in your space made a great point. You just need somebody else that can help the rotation. Someone that's completely opposite of Nurkic.
Yeah.
So you got to do something like that, like a Nick Richards or the Gaga, whatever his name is, from the coach. I feel like they're going to be a little bit more hesitant to move off from him since he's been balling. But it's just, I don't know. It's tough because I know how great this team can be. I did have an interesting conversation with Bradley Beal's brother, actually, about just kind of the Suns' struggles. And pretty much to sum it up, Kevin Durant, this team is built around the big three. But pretty much, I don't want to misquote this anyway. So pretty much, I guess, if you're missing one of the big three, it's going to be harder to win games, I guess, in a way, which I still feel like that's not entirely, I don't know. I'm going to look back on this because I don't want to get this wrong, in a sense, because I will feel terrible. Boom, where's it at? Okay, here it is. People also need to realize this team is built to be centered around the big three. And when you're down one, you're relying on one person to be someone they're not. So it's not that we can't win without KD. It's just this team wasn't built for that.
Mm. Yeah.
I think that's a very fair point, but I still feel like, in a sense, that you should be winning games when you have two all-star caliber players on this team.
Right.
What else? Yeah, I'll just read that point. But shout out to Byron, huge supporter. But I do want to address one more thing, though, since we're on the topic of the Beals. There was an interesting person that quoted my tweet, which I was being really petty, but I still thought it was funny. Let's see if I can find it. But after this, we have a fun game that I have for you, Trevor.
Okay. Yeah.
I did get this idea off TikTok, so we're going to see how this holds up here. Let's screen share this. My guy, John Voida. I don't remember what I said exactly, but he said, "Don't argue the guy. Beal liked one of his IG posts once, so now Beal can do no wrong. Can't be critical. It needs to be liked instead of being realistic. Beal 100% has not met the price paid for value paid."
Okay.
I thought this was interesting, I guess. Beal has no fucking idea who I am. At least I don't think so. I would definitely know if Bradley Beal liked one of my IG posts.
Okay.
And clearly I have been very critical, and I have been too. I just don't go out there on Twitter and say, "Fuck Bradley Beal, he sucks."
That's the norm nowadays. If you're not doing that, you're not in to some people.
Yeah. So I guess if I'm not putting it out there, I guess I'm not being critical. I guess I need to be liked instead of being realistic. I feel like I've been very realistic. I'm just not gonna. You can also see my great little response picture here. Love that. Yeah. That was great. But I'm not just gonna come out here on Twitter and say, "Fuck Bradley Beal, fuck Devin Booker, fuck Kevin Durant." Yeah. I guess it just so happens. Like, I'm not gonna do that. That's not me. I want to see what this was a reply to. I believe Oh yeah, it was pretty much the people. I love this is more of a petty comment, more
Oh, yeah.
funny, but people
Yeah.
took it serious. But he said Beal makes 50 M's and can't do this consistently. He
Right.
said Beal didn't pay himself 50
Yeah.
M's, LMAO.
Yeah.
And then he said he forced his way here with his no trade clause. Ishbia saw an available name and took the bait. And I also said, and how is that Brad's fault? Then it said it's not, but he's getting paid a big amount. Money comes with expectations. He hasn't stepped up yet in games without Katie. He should be leading us to W's. Average close to 30. I don't know so much about that. He's way too passive to be making all that money. And then this is where this came in at. So as 50 Cent said in that iconic video, so fuck me then, huh? Yeah.
I mean, like, I said this in a post the other day. Bradley Beal, and like you mentioned it, like, is a very high character man. Like,
yeah,
is very open about his faith and his family, and has been the most transparent, in my opinion, son, like in all these interviews and stuff, and like never dodges. Like he's always, accepting of questions. I just think his body's not holding up, and that's the hard part, because like
it's tough.
He's frustrated, and fans are frustrated. Like I'm sure Bradley Beal. I mean, I know Bradley Beal for sure wants the same thing that fans want. It's just like his body's not holding up, and when he's back out there, this is all new for him too, being a third option when he's been the guy for his whole career. So that is going to take time, and he hasn't necessarily had the most time. And now there's a new coach and a new system. So I don't know. It's easy to put the what do you call it?
A lot of adjusting.
Yeah, you can put like the heater on Brad or whatever you want. I'm not even saying the right thing. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. It's easy to put the blame on Brad, but there are a lot of factors there. And yes, like he's not playing up to the $50 million standard 100%. But just thinking about everything that's gone on, I wouldn't say it's Brad's fault that this team is not reaching what it wants to so far.
Yeah, I mean, clearly you can see the guy is frustrated. I don't know if Brad really is on socials like that, so I don't know if he really sees the slander, I guess. But, like, I have nothing against the guy. Obviously, I get you're frustrated with his play, but this is the only person that's not new to this whole situation is Kevin Durant. He's played on teams like this with Brooklyn, the Warriors. Even OKC, I guess, too. With Russ and them. So it's a different dynamic for Book and Beal. And I guess, I mean, I pretty much, just need to build more continuity, more reps in the system, especially Bud. Everybody's just kind of playing out of their role. I mean, Book's trying to translate this Olympic type deal to this roster. It's kind of been awkward to watch.
Yeah.
Because at times where he's been too passive, he needs to go out there and get buckets. And then at times where it feels like he's just chucking threes up because everybody on Twitter and analytics, anywhere in media says, hey, you got to chuck threes because that's the way you got to win in today's NBA game.
Yeah.
This is where he's at. He's chucking threes like he's Carmelo Anthony over 6'8" win defenders. So it gets tough at times, but it's just they just got to be healthy and you just got to start stacking games at this point. So hopefully Katie can come back tomorrow. Or no, tomorrow's Thursday when we're recording this. So hopefully Friday or that Saturday or Sunday. I don't know if it's a back-to-back or not.
Yeah, they play Portland on Sunday, so they got the Jazz on Friday. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just health. That's the only thing. I made a short about this. It's just everything is in the Suns' favor besides health. They have the roster. They have the depth. And you have Monte Morris and Tyus Jones as backup point guards. Wings, you got Kevin Durant. You got Ryan Dunn as a rookie that's stepping up. Royce O'Neal has played out of his mind.
Yeah.
What he's paid here to be doing.
Yeah.
Grayson Allen's been getting back into the rhythm of things. You know, he had his kids, so he missed the games, and then he was injured there. Who else am I missing? Nurkic is – I'm not even going to comment on him. Mason Plumlee's been good too. Like we have a deep roster. It's just putting the puzzle pieces together. We're still moving pieces around to figure out which ones click and which ones match. So That's as real as it's going to get right there. So
I will say, I
Yeah.
don't think this is a complete product by any means. Like I do.
I don't either.
Yeah, no, this isn't reporting to back it up, but I would not be surprised if there were moves to be made, just given that there seems to be some pieces that a lot of us can agree are expendable.
Yes.
And a lot of us, meaning like, through, I'm referring to a lot of conversations on X, but coming to a lot of people feel the way that, like Grayson's expendable, like a Nurkic is expendable to kind of get something else. What's that going to be? We don't know. But
Right.
there are holes in this roster that you would try to use those guys to fill.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So with all that being said, we're going to get into this little game here called
Cool.
so pretty much I got this off TikTok once again. Top 10 Phoenix Suns players of all time. But the trick is here. This is from Ranker, by the way, so no cheating.
Okay.
You got to put it in order. You got to go
Mhm.
in order here. You can't just name players. So from 1 to 10, you can go, from in order. This list is intriguing by any means, so I'm curious to see how you do.
Jesus. Okay. I don't know how they're going to rank it. I'll go off my rankings. So let's see. Number 1, Steve Nash.
Correct?
Number 2, Devin Booker.
It's Charles Barkley.
Charles. Well, he did win an MVP. Okay, so Charles
Yeah.
Barkley. Oh my gosh. No, they wouldn't. Kevin Johnson somewhere. I wouldn't even know how to rank it. I'd have to sit and think about it.
I mean, everybody that you named, I mean, obviously they're in here, but
Yeah. Okay, so let me try to rank it. Let me just do it, and not think about it too much. Okay. So Steve Nash, Charles Barkley would be Book third.
Book is 3, correct?
Okay. 4. Walter Davis.
It's Amari Stoudemire.
Bryce Stoudemire.
I shouldn't have said anything, but I'll give you some help there because this list does get tricky after
Completely
3.
Yeah. Sean Marion.
For 5, no.
No.
You did say this guy's name already.
Was it Kevin Johnson?
Correct. He is 5.
Okay. Hawkins. Connie. Somewhere.
No.
Okay.
6 or 10 is going to be really tricky.
Okay.
It's going to be a little tough. You're going to have to.
I'm probably going like deeper off knowledge than that thing is probably going.
Yeah,
So-
it's very simple, I would say.
Very simple. Okay. And it's updated like to this year.
Yep, that is correct.
Okay. See, like, okay. Like I'll just rattle off names. Chris Paul, freaking I already said Kevin Johnson, I already said Charles Barkley, I already said Connie Hawkins, who's not on there. The original son, Dick Van Arsdale, maybe.
Nope.
No.
For 6, you did say this guy's name already, though.
Was it Chris?
No. It's no one after. For the rest of this list, it's no one after 2010.
No one after 2010. Jason Kidd.
He's not 6.
Okay. This is going to be so embarrassing. I bet people are going to be like, dude, are you kidding me?
No, because I looked at this and I was like, geez, I don't think I could do this even.
Did they put Dan Marley on there?
They did.
Okay. Wow, that's interesting.
It's just as far as getting the order. You already named 2 of the guys, or 3 of them, actually.
Okay. Tom Chambers?
Okay, so you got the 4 people that are left. You just got to put them in order here.
Okay. I don't even remember what I said, but okay, so 6 through 10. I'm just going to try to go off the logic of this thing. Marley, I said Johnson. Durant, Chambers, Paul, and Kidd. Probably not.
No. Okay, so 6 is Sean Marion.
Okay.
Okay, so 7 through 10, you just recently said these guys' names.
Yeah.
Actually, you've said all these guys' names multiple times, so you should be able to get it. This guy is on the Suns pregame and postgame show.
Oh, so it's Chambers.
Yep, for 7.
Yeah. Okay.
Then 8 through 10.
Okay. We didn't rank Chris Paul?
No, it's someone after 2010.
Oh,
It's
that's right. That's right.
everyone 2010s and older.
Okay. Kid.
He's there, but he's not this one. The logic of this makes no sense because I don't even know how Jason Kidd's in this, I guess.
I have so many questions. Would they rank anybody else from those 2000s teams? I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm trumped.
Okay. Well, 8 is none other than Thunder Dan himself.
Okay.
Then, you know what? You got these guys, so I'll just finish it off. 9 is Jason Kidd.
Okay.
And then 10 is Walter Davis.
Interesting how they got the all-time leading scorer at 10.
That's what I'm saying. Because I looked at this, I'm like, there's no way anybody's getting this in order here.
Yeah. I mean, you can take it all kinds of different ways. I think it's just a matter of how you look at it. So, but the 10 that's on there is makes a lot of sense. So,
yeah, for sure. Well, with that being said, I think we will wrap this episode up.
Probably good. I stopped there.
Yeah, we got a decently long episode, a lot of yapping. We're still rusty. We're gonna get back to it.
Yeah.
Should be a good time here. You guys should be seeing like little short clips too on our Instagram page.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Because we have an editor now. So that's cool because that takes a lot off of me and both of us. So we can just go shit. But yeah, I don't know do you have anything to say, Trevor? I don't really have much to say besides just stay tapped into the journey because we're gonna have some pretty cool guests that are gonna be coming on the show.
Yeah, I mean, you kill it with your content. I'm really excited we get to do this collab again. I think it makes a lot of sense. Given that, we've been able to kind of build some things on social media, you on Instagram and me on X more so. So I think it'll be good. And yeah, I mean, like we had Ish on before, so that was cool.
That was super cool.
Yeah.
Now he's over in Israel playing basketball. So that's cool.
Yeah. So yeah. And like you said, the guests and stuff is going to be really cool. So I'm excited.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. So after hearing all that, guys, I would hit that subscribe button because you're going to be getting some pretty cool some perspectives here because Trevor's not really on Instagram, so I pretty much do all the Instagram stuff. Yeah. Trevor's all on Twitter. God, that's kind of a tongue twister to say that Twitter, but or X, I don't know what the people are calling it nowadays. So get the best of both worlds. We're gonna get to see and just kind of break down Trevor's content here since he's going to be at practices and games and he's going to be up close with the players. So you're going to get that cool exclusive content on here. So I'd hit that subscribe button just for that. And I turn on notifications too, because we are going to be coming in hot here, especially with some cool episodes here. We are going to dive down into the G League a couple times, kind of give some cool perspectives from that because I don't know. I don't think anybody's really said anything about the Valley Suns this season at all. They've been a fun team to watch too. Games. I think they're doing pretty good. I don't know if they've lost at home at all.
Yeah, they got Bronny coming to town tomorrow. I know that Thursday.
Yeah, I feel like Matt Ishbia has a hand in that because there's no way that Bronny James just decided to travel to a game at Mold Arena. Yeah, that sounds like a Matt Ishbia ticket move there.
I'd like to get out there and cover them. I haven't been able to yet, but I'm going to try to in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, that would definitely be cool. I'm going to try to make it out to a G League game next month out in Des Moines versus Iowa Wolves. So it should be a fun time, and hopefully you get to hear from some of the G League players on this podcast as well.
That'd be great.
Some of that stuff works here. But yeah, I think we'll say goodbye for now, or not goodbye, but it's more of a see you later until the next episode. So you guys take care, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Thanks, guys.
Devin Booker.